So at the DSEI event in London, industry comes together and it's all very friendly. We all agree with things. But actually, retired Air Marshal Greg Bagwell threw a hand grenade into the room. He says he kept the pin in when he was talking to the industry about where it's going wrong and needs to rethink again. Greg, welcome to EOFIN. Tell me about the hand grenade.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, I guess, but the pin was definitely in. It was meant as a friendly challenge, if you like, of where we find ourselves today. My presentation was about how we integrate in the network, as if there's such a thing. Of course, there's no one network. And I guess that was my point. It's about how do we continue to operate and interoperate between nations, between systems, between militaries, in a world which is becoming increasingly complex in terms of the data that you need to pass, in terms of the threats that we face that could make that network perhaps less assured than it has been in the past. And at the moment we're sort of applying a patchwork approach, trying to ensure that old works with new, different nations work with different nations. And I was questioning whether perhaps there's a time for a rethink, to really go back to the drawing board and, if necessary, redesign the network from the ground up.
That's a pretty difficult thing to do. I mean, it's the same in a domestic environment, I guess.
It's a hugely difficult thing to do, and I knew when I said it that I was almost putting mission impossible, because it does require fundamental rethink. Instead of thinking about platforms that then you integrate, you actually think about a network for which the platforms have to then plug into. So it's a reverse of the logic, but that's exactly how you do things at home, and then you bring in your new equipment and you ensure that they work. Of course, the benefit in the commercial market is they've kind of solved that problem for us. You don't really worry about the mobile phone network when you buy your phone. You really just worry about how sexy the phone is and what stuff it does. You almost take for granted that it will work on the network, although not everywhere. And so, not many people worry about that aspect. In the military, we unfortunately haven't taken quite the same approach. We celebrate when we buy some of our equipment that it's been 20 years in the design and will be 50 years in service. Well, you don't hold your mobile phone up and make that boast, do you?
But a lot of the stuff that happens in the military is proprietary. You don't want other people to know how it's put together, and for the military, you just want to use it. How are we going to persuade the OEMs and the supply chain to actually enable their materials to work that way?
Yeah, and that's a very fair point. And it was the point I made. It wasn't just aimed at a sort of military mindset. It was also aimed at sort of how industry looks to collaborate. And there are certain protocols and processes that we can build in a common standards for which everyone then needs to play into. So that is achievable. Of course, I keep using the mobile phone mug. It's not a bad example. You've got a variety of different operating systems, and you then choose which operating system to operate on, and that then drives the way you buy your phone. But that comes back to how the militaries then effectively set the standards. So if you want an open system architecture or you want a compatible system, then that's for the military to set that as a specification and for the OEMs to answer the call. I absolutely understand why OEMs end up using their software in a proprietary state, because it allows them to a high degree to control their markets. But I would argue that many of our integration and procurement challenges are about different industry products talking to each other. When you look at how you integrate a weapon system, for example, on an aircraft, most of the delays and most of the problems are in bringing those number of companies together to ensure that that system works as one. That's all the operator wants. But actually, it's quite complex when you take that down to industrial level. And it's very difficult to break through that.